There I am. Good evening. Welcome to the Thursday, July 18th, 2024 Marlington Local School District Board of Education meeting. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Josh Hagan,
Here.
Karen Humphreys,
Here.
Kathy Krupko,
Here.
Mark Ryan,
Here.
Jonathan Swift.
Here.
Reading of the mission statement, Mr. Swift.
In collaboration with staff, community, parents, and students, the Marlington Local School District will develop lifelong learners who understand and apply knowledge and demonstrate excellence in the pursuit of the highest standards with effective intervention to challenge every student.
Thank you. Additions or corrections to the meeting agenda? Anyone? Anything? No? Okay. Adoption of the meeting agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the following agenda for the meeting?
So, second.
Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Ms. Krupko,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan,
Yes.
Mr. Hagan,
Yes.
Ms. Humphreys,
Yes.
Mr. Swift.
Yes.
Thank you. Invocation.
Hey, I'll give the invocation tonight.
Thank you.
Dear Lord, we thank you that we can be here tonight. We thank you for all the ways that you've blessed us, that you've given us a great community to live in, a great school, wonderful kids that can be shaped and taught and blessed by our teachers. We pray that you'll give the board wisdom tonight in making their decisions, and we pray for your continued help for our district. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
OSBA presentation, Mrs. Krupko.
Okay. There has been a lot happening simply because they wanted to take a lot of action before summer break. I'm not going to get into, there's like 4 pages of this. I promise you I'm not reading 4 pages. But I will give the whole report to Bob, and if anybody would like it emailed to them, I will send it to you. The House agreed to Senate changes on House Bill 2, which includes $600 million for the construction and renovation of K-12 school buildings. It's waiting for the governor's signature. There's another, the House agreed to Senate changes on House Bill 47, which would require the placement of automated defibrillators in each public and chartered non-public school and each public recreational facility. It would also require the Department of Health to develop a model emergency action plan for the use of AEDs, and it's headed to the governor for his signature. Also, they agreed to changes to the Senate House Bill 147, which is waiting for the governor's signature, and it makes changes regarding teacher licensure, revocation, teacher hiring practices, and conduct unbecoming the teaching professional. And the Senate Education Committee addressed some changes to that bill. There are several of them. It's in the report I will give to Bob, and if anybody wants it, just ask me for it. The House also agreed to Senate changes to House Bill 214. It's waiting for the governor's signature, which would require each public school to adopt a policy regarding certain expectations related to the performance of staff members' professional duties. In addition to that, it gives school districts, community schools, and STEM schools authority to offer an established character education program and requires districts to adopt a religious expression day policy allowing students up to 3 excused absences per academic year to express their religion during observed religious holidays or religious activities. In the Senate, there was legislation that's going to the governor for a signature that would make changes regarding education records and student data privacy. There is a bunch of specifics on that, which are included in this report. The Senate agreed to House changes to SB 168, Senate Bill 168, and it's going to the governor. And there is a long list of House Primary and Secondary Education Committee changes that were made. It's like 2 pages of lists, so. Ohio law now requires each public school that offers grades 9 through 12 to provide instruction in CPR and the use of AEDs, automated external defibrillators, to all students. The American Heart Association is currently offering a free program to public high schools to assist in meeting this graduation requirement. It includes physical resources, CPR in schools training kit, age-appropriate curriculum, and staff training. The training has in-person or virtual training options. There's an opportunity to apply and contact information, which is included here. And finally, they are reopening the school safety and security grant applications. So I don't know if we're eligible to apply for any additional monies, but there will be awards up to $40,000 to help schools correct workplace safety and security issues. And it says that schools that applied prior to February 29th will be considered without having to resubmit. I don't know if that leaves us in there since we've already gotten it.
We have, Nick and I have talked about this, so we
We're on it.
already did the Bureaus of Workers' Comp with the 40, so basically if there's anything remaining in that, we won't have to resubmit, they would just apply more. So if
Perfect.
we just have to look at our allocation. I don't think we got the full 40, but if there's a difference on that, we can. You're talking about House Bill, or the 912, with the introduction of CPR AEDs. Obviously, we got donated years ago or a few years ago from the American Heart Association, all the practice dummies and things. So we do teach all our 9 through 12 graders CPR and how to use the AED. And then I also applied for the free American Heart Association grant. I already turned that in this week for additional support or help for that. So if we get that, so we just basically, go through what our curriculum is, what it is, and then our numbers in our high school, when do we teach it, who teaches it, and so forth, and then how they can support it on that aspect. So if we can get additional kits or AEDs out of it, then that's what we're going to do.
All right, great.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
That's awesome.
Kathy.
Mr. Swisher?
Okay. Good evening. It's July 18th, 2024. I'm going to go ahead and give our superintendent report for this month. Again, I'll stick with, as always, just some things to celebrate, what's going on right now, what we're going to be looking at next month or moving forward throughout the year. A couple of things here. So when I talked about the migrant program, I said this is the last year of the migrant program in person due to funding. Obviously, that all comes from the federal side and the state side. And obviously, our numbers have dwindled due to we just don't have as many migrants coming into the district. So I'm going to give you a quick, tomorrow is the last day of the slide, tomorrow's the last day. So this is pretty much in a nutshell what went on this summer. About 3 minutes, but gives you an idea. Kids did a lot of different things.
one now? Is that Cubby's?
Yeah, it looks like Cubby's.
So as you can see, they did quite a lot in their 6 weeks. 6 weeks go by pretty quick. So it's a program that obviously is, I don't want to say it's forever gone. It's just if our numbers would ever rebuild, then we were able to fund it, in a more of an in-person program. We will continue to bring it back, but right now this is unfortunately probably at least for this year, you won't see a slideshow next year and what's going on with the migrants. So we did a good job. All right, I just put a little bit what's going on right now. I put you guys an update. It's the same thing. Our grant team kind of wrote another about $750,000 in grants. I wouldn't say last week, it's probably 2 weeks ago, maybe a little longer. This was more on the our ag hort landscaping program side of it. So ultimately is hopefully to get to buy new equipment, add greenhouse space. It did require us to have some support from area businesses. We had DHOS, Enviroscapes, Alliance Area Development, Alliance Chamber, Stark County Farm Bureau, and the Stark Educational Partnership. So we should be hearing back that pretty soon. Basically, it's very similar to the CTE. We changed from our information tech to coding, and we did that $600,000 or $700,000 grant to revamp the room down there. Same deal, but they open the window for a very short period of time, and it always seems to be happening in like June. So it just didn't give us a lot of time, but as promised, we just continue to fire away as many grants that we think would be relevant to support more of our programs here. Summer project update. I told you to give you an idea where we're at. We're only halfway through our summer, so I'm going to go ahead and give you your quick little update of where we're at. So phase 2 of the high school roof. This is before pictures. It's obviously in the before. And this is a quick update. This is them working during. This crew, same crew we had last year. I mean, they work. They'd get here at 3 a.m. and they'd work until they were tired.
It's hot up there.
So they did a good job. So this is all during. I'll have a much more detailed update in August but it is complete. The roof project is complete. It's 100% done. Phase 2 of the roof is done.
Phase 2, you said?
Yes. Night and day difference. Softball dugout, that was before. It's leaking also. It's during. And here's after. That's also complete. Tennis court, it's the first time those have been done, so that's kind of during. What the courts look like after. A lot better. Kids are very excited. I heard a lot of good comments about that.
There's no big cracks in them.
No big cracks in them anymore, anything like that. So.
Trip over.
Don't worry about the ball.
We're tripping.
Tripping over.
We told you we had those underground gas tanks. They've been here since the inception we started, that we had to get rid of those. We talked about that, so this is during, them doing the digging process. We waited till after school was out, obviously. There's the tanks as they're getting those out. Again, yeah, this is up by the bus garage, up around there. There's the tanks. And then pulling those tanks out. They're big tanks. And that was part of the problem, was the tanks were so big, you fill those tanks and actually the gas would end up going bad before we could use it, which actually hurt us.
Oh, yeah.
And we didn't have an efficient way to monitor except putting a yardstick down there to figure out how much is out, which is not a
High-tech.
efficient, high-tech way to do it. So it was not where we were at.
What do they do with the old tanks? Just
They,
scrapyard?
Yeah, so that tank on the right-hand side did not have a hole in it like that. They actually cracked it to start breaking it up.
That's where all the gas is.
So no, there actually was, the EPA was on site. There was actually 0 leaks with the tanks, but they need to come out because that was the big worry, is where we're at. So they had to give that. So they actually just broke those tanks up and got rid of them. That's kind of where we're at now. It's kind of smoothed over and doesn't exist. It is a dirt, but we have to work on that. The classroom renovation, this is the CT room we're talking about. This is a little bit of some before. I mean, obviously you knew what our classrooms look like, and they were just kind of a lot. We had to open up some walls and take out the ceilings. After the board meeting's over, if you want to walk down, I can give you a better look than some of these. This is kind of where we're at now between the 2 rooms. Really coming along. We're at the phase now of we're going to be trenching some electrical lines in the floor. All the stud walls are up, and we can kind of give a layout or spray painted design what it looks like down there before they epoxy and do the floor. So gives you an idea of how much we open the wall at. This is right down the hall, right down the hall here behind the tech office. So it's our old informational technology room, and it was our health room. We kind of combined and opened those up. So one side will be the new coding lab, the other side will be a classroom, and then Bonifert's going to come in and have a big sliding glass door so you can actually shut it off if you close if you want. Then it'll have all new types of lighting, and then we actually went ahead and put new drywall, studded walls are going to go up around. This is all grant funded. This was no cost. This was all part of that grant, from the grant team on that end. Actually, when you go down there and you see it, it makes you think it looks amazing and really changes the whole dynamics of the. It'd be nice, I was talking to the company that's doing it, and I said, I guess once we get to a point that we're caught up on things, if you actually just set aside money, I'd start whittling my way down because, he said the structure of the building was, at least in that section, because the roof's done and that done was good. It's just you can't go through those stone walls. You can't update. You can't give any type. So that's why, just give or take, you lose a couple inches and restud it in. New ceiling makes a big difference. So.
Which grant funded that?
That was one of those CT, the Career Tech grants. So this was half of it. So half the grant went to construction costs, half the grant went to the cost for the equipment that you guys all approved. And then the other portion of it's for professional development for Mr. Campbell. All right, Lexington hallway abatement. We started where the ceiling, this is kind of like what caught it, okay? This is what was changed. There was a crack or a sag from there. So obviously they had to come in and prep the hallway. Now we're doing all the hallways, so this is just the first hallway that they were prepping. As you can see, they got to seal everything up completely, duct tape around everything and seal. That's just the protocol. Why I said it takes time. Why I said that, I gave you guys dates and phases and how that's going to work. Where they're at right now is kind of what it looks like when they're done, completely clean. Before the drop ceilings, and obviously the drop ceiling hasn't gone in yet. That's with the abatement complete for that section of the hallway. Now, when I was in there the other day, and it's extremely clean, and everything. It smells great. It looks great. It's amazing how high those ceilings are. It's too bad you can't have those ceilings raised up, but as you can see, the amount of wires and things in there, that's just not going to be the case on that. So So from, drop ceiling will start week of July 22nd. So you're talking about on Monday. So basically where they're about 5 days ahead of schedule right now. So I would say about 60% of the building will be open come July 22nd. So basically the hallway that was initially abated is done. The hallway down where 4-5 is done. The lobby hallway. So basically the cafeteria will be open, the gym will be open, all the back rooms will be open, all those hallways will be open. So now our custodians will go in there and start getting their rooms cleaned, and the drop ceiling people will just go right along with them. And then they'll be doing on phase 3, which will be the long hallway going, I would say going north. And then phase 4 will be the last hallway, which would be where the kindergartners preschool is. That would be the hallway heading east. So we are right now ahead of schedule on abatement. So I think the only question I've gotten from some people is, is Lexington going to open on time? I said 100%. Kids are going in. We're going to be 100% open on time. It's the only possibility of things that would be just finishing the drop ceiling in the evening, maybe a little bit in a small section. But from an abatement standpoint, no. When I met with Bill Racine and Cardinal as they're going through it, I stop in at least once a week and check on progress. He said barring, I just asked him, I said, let me be clear, I'm going to tell the board, there's no chance of this building shutting down again, as a building. And he said, no. He said, barring a natural catastrophe, which had nothing to do with abatement, that building is going to be open, so... doing this has basically ensured that all kids are going to be in the building. So he was very clear on that. So that was my point and why I made the recommendation we move forward with that. So that's important. So that's where we're at, kind of in the drop ceiling phase there. Vasco is just doing some cement projects before. So you between the middle school and there was just different areas where it was dipped. We had no drainage. If it would rain, kids couldn't walk across the street you couldn't go from the bus garage over to the middle school at all. So they dug that up, found out our drainage wasn't real solid, so we had some drainage issues. We wanted to get that fixed. That's kind of where we're at right now. And there's a lot of little cement projects. I just wanted to kind of get on some of those. Lighting, paving, and more is still coming. So obviously, I can tell you right now from a lighting standpoint, OOPS is coming out and marked the soccer lots being going to be examined. They kind of marked their spots today. The electric company is going to be going in on Tuesday next week and basically dropping in the posts before Vasco would come in and do any of their paving, so they didn't have to core drill after that. So I met with those contractors. What's going on?
The battery's low.
But that might be it. I think that's all we're at right now. I think.
It's a little note up there. You're about to die.
Yep. That is the end of it. You're right. So.
Good.
So obviously, the other projects, I'm waiting on Vasco to do all the paving, which we knew was coming. The lighting's still coming. Then come August meeting, I'll have a final update with everything that you guys approved from a major project standpoint, and then any other little things that came up like that.
Is that what they're doing out at Washington too?
So Washington, that's part of the little cement projects. Like they
Okay.
dug down to fix some major cement cracks there in the front door. They found out that no different than what Josh talked about, or maybe Jonathan did at Lexington, how the metal posts seemed to be, some of them be a little, the canopy part of it. So that when they dug down in that cement, they noticed that. So they asked if they could bring in another guy to see if they get a cost of cutting that, re-welding a new section in, and then re-cementing over.
Okay.
Since we already have it down. So I just got those pics today when I went out and looked, so those weren't part of this initial, but that'll be all part of the process when we take a look at that. So finally, I think I also mentioned, obviously at one point we had school lunches, prices probably months ago when school was in. There was a community eligibility provision, so there's something you could apply for to get to offer free school breakfast and lunches if we would qualify. As the way it looked, Marlington did qualify Basically, we have over 45% of students considered economically disadvantaged according to the Ohio Department of Education. It's increased about 6% to be exact in the last 5 years. So really, it was an application process and very detailed process that Vicki and Jackie did, our new food service person, in collaboration with Nick and I, just kind of sat down and really looked at this. We really went back and forth. We sent them to other schools that are also applying for it, like Louisville, Minerva, other schools that are also going to be in the same boat we're in. It looks like they're all going to be doing the same thing. So
Everybody gets free lunches?
everybody will get breakfast and lunch free.
Nice.
So
Starting this year?
starting this school year, district-wide.
Very nice.
So, and really it boils down to, and I can send you any information, but if you actually just Google the community eligibility provision with the Department of Education workforce, it kind of explains it. But it's really not talking about the free and reduced lunch forms like we used to talk about. That's not what they're looking at. They're looking at more of your Medicare, your SNAP programs, other things like that. So they kind of explain that. So certain buildings like our middle school in Lexington easily qualify, or maybe a Washington or Marlboro, not so much, but when you combine them as a group, they kind of all offset each other from that
So are they
standpoint.
still going to have to fill out those forms, the free and
So
reduced?
it's a little bit different form this year. Basically, you still have to fill out, we have a new form that the community eligibility provision does, because we still want to submit. So families that are struggling or economically disadvantaged or on a free and reduced lunch plan, because you have to do it every year, they still have to fill out the form, or we want all families to, because if they qualify, then that would get them their fees waived and other things that we can't waive based on this. This is only strictly meals, so filling out the form is still critical. So we're,
School fees?
School fees?
yeah, so if you're free by law, you can't charge fees. So,
So
We recoup that somewhere else?
do we recoup that from the federal government? Or
uh,
do we just lose that?
I don't know that answer, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I mean, I'd
Talking
say
about
they're
all school fees for,
well, let's say elementary school fees are $30. That's all it is. That's a school fee for elementary. So if you're qualified based on your eligibility of your income and the size of your family for free lunch, then you would not have school fees. Your full school fees would be waived.
Does that
for all K through 12.
Yes.
Well, just the ones that.
Just the ones that apply for that family or that particular
does
building.
that
Not
apply to
everybody would
athletic?
But if you have a
fees
high
also?
school student,
Huh?
they would be
Athletic
eligible.
fees also?
That I don't think so. It does not apply to athletic fees.
Okay.
Now, because we always have a thing, because our athletic fees are determined by us and our board. It's not a statewide thing. So our $50 pay to play, $250 maximum cap has been in place for well over 10 years or more. We're probably on the lower side, which is we're fine with, but at the same time, we've made it very clear, any family, it's never been an issue. Like between the booster club, between anonymous donors or that, anybody that wants to play or participate in an activity, the pay to play has never been a problem
Okay.
at Marlington.
So any student that wants that breakfast, whether they are qualified or not, gets free breakfast.
Yeah, food-wise,
They still have to fill out a form?
No form. You don't have to do anything.
So are we gonna
You
have
only have to fill out the form if you want your fees waived. If you think, let's just say you're very,
Gotcha.
you don't have that, or right now you're out of a job and you have a family of 4 and you're struggling to make ends meet, the last thing you want to do is you have 4 kids that 4 fees at $30 or whatever. You got a kid at the high school that has this fee plus the technology fee plus the iPad fee plus the art fee, French fee. Those little fees add up. Even if it's $5, $7, $10, they add up on that end of it.
So we don't have to add money to their account anymore?
Correct.
Will we get the money that's in their account back?
Yes, if you would request that, we can do that for you.
Or you could donate that $2, Jonathan.
No, but more seriously, a lot of parents do carry over money.
They
from
do,
year
and it
to
always
year,
is there. So yes, we
and
can
it's always
reimburse all that,
there,
yes.
So I didn't know.
And this is a 1 year, we sign up for a year to see how it goes.
Okay.
This is not like a forever thing. We're going to have to continue to look at this.
Well,
So
I'm
Always
confused,
trying to
because I
save
thought they
money, okay.
still had to fill out forms so that we could kind of monitor and they had a good feel for who would be eligible then for the next year.
yeah,
or
so
whether
now,
the
so
school
now
would be
everybody,
eligible
so
for the
now
next year.
from this standpoint, filling out the forms has 2 good things. One, it still allows our students to get the fees and things that they want picked up, and a couple other provisions, which is all laid out in their online forms.
Right.
Why they do it. And 2, it also still ties to our federal funding. which
Okay.
is why we ask people to do it.
Okay.
It would be nice to know, though, if it's going to be taken care of elsewhere, the
Right.
fees.
Correct. So,
Yeah.
I think parents will get it because it's real bold. We kind of went through the programs, we sat with the company and had Mr. Siders he's our back-end person that meets with the company for our forms that do everything online, and we kind of redesigned it for what is required by law, and then made it very clear why you would want to do it as a family. Yeah, that's something on that end of it. Okay? And please, if you got more questions, let me know on that.
One question, and
Yeah.
it's construction, but not necessarily ours, with State Street closed west of us. How's that going to affect busing? Because they're down for 65 days, and they just closed.
I know Sherry's still working, taking a look at that. They weren't real good at letting us know that. You know, even the neighbors I talked to down there said, no, the signs just kind of popped up and now we're closed, you know, so, we need to.
Oh, they had signs up for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
You know, that was funny.
Yeah, we
It
knew-
was- But
yeah,
not,
we knew
not,
'cause it's by our
not the
church.
length of where it was at, like where it started at, and now they're much better, like detour here, that, so.
Especially at 3.
Right just west of our church,
Just past Reader.
between
Reader and Columbus.
the old
Red said
Pico
Water
auction.
Church Road.
There's 2 or 3 spots on
Yeah.
State Street,
Yeah.
but it's, the first one is just west of our church driveway.
So Sherry was aware of it. She said, really, it's just, it's a minor adjustment. All it's going to do is, when she does it, she just lets the parents know that on that affected route, it may be a little longer until it opens back up, and then obviously it'll shorten up.
Well, let me know if
So.
the church can help you as far as the turnaround, if that's
Okay.
conducive.
Yeah, I'll let her know. What was that? So, where we're moving forward. Oh, close. I thought we closed back. Obviously, next month, I'd like to have a work session. Obviously, to talk, as I always do in August, talk about end of school, beginning of the school year staffing, purchase services, where we're at. We need to review the strategic plan one final time, because if you guys want any tweaks or changes, it's finally done. So I want you guys to see it, because you're going to approve it in the August meeting. I'll give you a final staffing update. I mean, if you have any questions during my personnel, if you want to know anything about staffing, ask me. I can kind of give you where we're at right now, but I'll give you like a more detailed look at what that is. I'll have Renee here to give you a curriculum update of what's coming up for this school year, kind of big agendas and what we're going on. Bob will have any update that he has, and then any goals for the 24-25 school year. We'll talk about some of those. So I give or take, like I said, probably an hour for us to go through that, depending on what you have. And then I'll give you the summer completed projects, with pictures on that. Questions for me right now? Okay.
Okay. Public participation, did anyone sign up?
No, no one signed up.
Thank you. Old business, none. New business.
Okay. All right. Get in the new business here. Okay, we have 6 items today on new business. Again, I recommend number 1, I'll recommend the motion to approve the following transportation in lieu agreements for the 2024-2025 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
It's the same as what we had we talked about it. I gave you stuff. Last year's transportation in lieu was about $538.55. This year it's $583.86. Of course, there's a maximum, I think, and I think I gave that paper to you. I think it was like 1,000.
What's the amount?
This year is $583.86. Last year was $538.55. But this year there's also a max, like a max you could go, which is $1,167.72.
And what
For families?
determines,
Huh?
yeah, what determines the max and
That I don't know. I'm assuming it's what they would submit. Because typically when I talk to what we've done, we basically send them that $583.86. And then obviously if they go above or beyond that based on what their mileage or they feel, there's something they submit that there's a max that they could go to
Is that per family?
per family. Yeah.
All right. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hagan,
yes.
Mr. Ryan,
Yes.
Ms. Humphries,
Yes.
Ms. Krupko,
Yes.
Mr. Swift.
Yes.
Number 2, foreign exchange student. Recommend the motion to approve the following foreign exchange student as shown in Exhibit A.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Just one?
One.
How many did we have last year? We had like 4 or
7.
5? 7?
And we had quite a few last year.
Okay.
One right now. That may change, but that's where we're at. One right now.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Swift,
Yes.
Mr. Hagan,
Yes.
Ms. Humphries,
Yes.
Ms. Krupko,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan.
Yes.
This is not, item 3 is just, there was 2 policies that did not have first or second read that were missed back at the last spring. So you do have those with you, so this is nothing you can do. Go ahead and look them over. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Bob or I. They're just about job-related expenses. There's some wording changes that added the treasurer in there as part of that, so those were missed. So nothing to do this month, so go ahead and take a look at 'em.
Those are in here?
Yeah,
Cited?
they should have been right behind your exchange. Were they not in there?
No.
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 Okay. I
There's
will-
no attachment on the agenda either.
No, you're fine. I will, Josh, here you go. I'll pass those down. I will have Nicole email you all tomorrow,
Okay.
just the
That's
same
fine.
2 that I gave Josh. Josh will be on that email, so you'll get it doubled up, okay?
Those are just the ones that we talked about.
It just basically has, it's added treasurer to have authority.
It's
Yeah.
the same, it's 2 different ones.
One's for classified, one's for certified. They're almost identical wording, except one's for classified staff, certified staff, so I'll have Nicole email that tomorrow to all of you. Correct me if I'm wrong, is that right, Bob?
Yeah, travel-related stuff.
Yes.
So is this like reimbursement for staff or?
No, this is just those 2 policies deal with just that in the previous policy, it basically it didn't have the treasurer actively involved in it for no reason. It just, nothing ran through the treasurer, it was just the superintendent. All Bob said is that didn't make any sense.
This is all state generated.
Yes, but at the same time, you could, Neola agreed it didn't really make any sense that why Bob as the treasurer that would have, if there was a job-related expense, why wouldn't he be the one in coincide, including myself, for approval process? It was just basically a superintendent approval. It did not involve the treasurer, which didn't make any sense to Bob or I.
You going on a trip anytime soon, Bob?
So it's in lieu of rental car, you get reimbursed for mileage on your car, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
That's all. It's nothing changed. It's nothing in there about that. It's just, actually, it was just adding the treasurer.
Yeah, it just adds me to also be able to approve those.
Gosh, 'cause
Anybody else like to see it?
You can hold on to those. I'll email you tomorrow.
Okay.
No big. Okay, number 4, on there, recommend the motion to approve the following out-of-state field trips as shown in Exhibit B and C. That's the band to New York City, New York, April 3rd through the 6th, 2025, and our choral to Orlando, Florida, April 9th through the 13th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
We're just being proactive and getting it in advance.
Good. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Ryan,
Yes.
Mr. Hagan,
Yes.
Ms. Humphries,
Yes.
Ms. Krupko,
Yes.
Mr. Swift.
Yes.
Number 5, recommend the motion to approve the resolution to proceed with the renewal of the current expense levy as shown in Exhibit D.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Okay, this is the second portion for us to send over to get it certified and get on the ballot by the August deadline. Again, this is a renewal. It's not a new tax. If you look in there, you should have it attached in there on backside of page 2 on your paper. Basically, it's 8.5 mils, so it's a big renewal every 5 years. it brings in, now, it brings in $2.184 million annually, so it's a huge budget item for us. And it'll be, according to the auditor on there, it's what, 87, or it's not a new tax, but it currently is $87 per $100,000 of county auditor price, and that's on that second page there. So that's how, and the wording of how it would show up on the ballot would be there also.
And just to clarify, it's the same as it was originally. and
Correct.
We have to vote 5 years to renew it again.
Correct.
Renewal.
Yes, there's no ask for continual or no ask to extend it. No, it's exactly the way it's been.
Okay.
It's
change.
rated at 2.84 effective mills now.
Versus 8.5. So,
Okay. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hagan,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan,
Yes.
Ms. Humphries,
Yes.
Ms. Krupko,
Yes.
Mr. Swift.
Yes.
the final one is recommend the motion to approve the following substitute bus driver rate to $20 per hour for the 2024-25 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
What was it?
I'm just raising the substitute bus driver rate,
What was it
What was
before?
it?
18.
Oh, okay.
Alliance is 21.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
2 years ago, I think it was 14.
It
That's
was
what
a couple
people
years
think.
ago.
Yeah.
You know,
A
thanks to
couple
Joe
years
Biden,
ago, we didn't have the
inflation,
inflation yet.
you know, we're in this situation.
Okay, call the roll, please.
Mr. Swift,
Yes.
Mr. Hagan,
Yes.
Ms. Humphries,
Yes.
Ms. Krupko,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan.
Yes.
Thank you. Treasurer's agenda, Mr. Foss.
I'd like to recommend that the board approve the minutes from the June 13th regular board meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Ms. Krupko,
Yes.
Mr. Swift,
Yes.
Mr. Hagan,
Yes.
Ms. Humphries,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan.
Yes.
Item number 2, I'd like to recommend that the board approve the financial reports for June 2024 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Highlights, Bob?
Couple highlights. We finished the end of the year. June is also the end of our fiscal year with a balance of $10,845,389.84 in all funds. In the general fund, the cash balance that we ended with was $7,141,365.74. We're also at the time of year right now in the department where all the budgets are in. We closed the fiscal year recently, so now we're processing everything with the new fiscal year. So we're up and running for business again in this fiscal year.
Questions? Okay.
I got a question on some of the issued checks.
Yes.
You have that ready? On the last page, what is this payment to Precision Pump Incorporated?
Fuel tank removal.
That's the fuel tank removal?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
What were those made of? The tanks, were they steel?
Fiberglass.
Fiberglass?
Oh, those were fiberglass.
Yeah. Any other questions with the check register?
That's all I have for now. Thank you.
Just not to point out anything in particular, but we've been paying a lot of bills lately, trying to keep up on things. We had a large check run right before year end. The one tomorrow is also large. It's, I think, around $670,000 we're going to pay. Some of these project payments are coming due.
Okay. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Ryan,
Yes.
Mr. Hagan,
Yes.
Ms. Humphries,
Yes.
Ms. Krupko,
Yes.
Mr. Swift.
Yes.
I'd like to recommend that the board approve the budget and revenue revisions for fiscal year 25 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
I'd like to highlight a couple of those. One note, too, the copy that was distributed to you on paper had, and there's been one change since then. The one that's posted online is correct, which basically just increased the 018 budgets for the principals. As I was putting in the budgets, I realized they were asking for more than last year. More revenue, more expense, too. So the number now that we're putting in there for them is
195,000?
let's see, what's it up to? Yeah, 195,000 now, adding another 40,000. But the biggest change on here really is related to that career technical grant that Dan mentioned in Fund 070. That's reflected there as well, too. I believe it's $709,000. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, I said 070. No, it is in
499.
499, exactly. Yeah, the 070 is all the projects, capital projects. And then we also have a lot of revenue changes as well, too, based on the request we put in for at the end of the year for the grants, the monies that we've spent that we get reimbursed for. The changes here reflect those monies coming back to us.
Everybody good? Okay, call the roll, please.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Ms. Humphries?
Yes.
Ms. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
I'd like to recommend that the Board of Education approve a fund transfer from the class of 2023 to the class of 2027 in the sum of $300.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? How does that happen? I mean, with
Well,
the children.
basically, when a lot of times after the class is done, they bequeath their remaining funds to another class. So sometimes it's the year class following them. They chose to do it to the class of 2027.
Nice. Okay, call the roll, please.
Mr. Swift,
Yes.
Ms. Krupko,
Yes.
Mr. Hagan,
Yes.
Ms. Humphries,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan.
Yes.
Item number 5, I would like to recommend that the board approve the donation from the Teague family, LLC, $97 for high school PBIS services for a student incentive.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Okay. Any further comments on that? No, just pretty simple.
No,
Thank them.
just PBIS is poverty-based intervention services.
Okay. Nice. Call the roll, please.
Ms. Krupko,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan,
Yes.
Mr. Hagan,
Yes.
Ms. Humphries,
Yes.
Jonathan Swift.
Yes.
Okay, the next item is I'd like to recommend that the board approve a donation of artwork.
So moved.
Second.
I'd like to tell you a little bit about that. This is kind of unrolled here. It's taken a while for me to coordinate this with Dr. Tommy Rad. She began her teaching career here at Marlington in the middle school where I'm located. Her and her family were friends of the artist Tom Haverfield, and they've donated, and Dr. Rad is donating 5 paintings by artist Tom Haverfield. He was a former instructor and baseball coach at Marlington, and they are being donated in recognition of Mr. William Rad, the Rad family, and Mr. Tom Haverfield. Mr. Rad was an instructor and football coach at Marlington, and Dr. Rad, as I mentioned, started her career here. The donated artwork is appraised at $19,400.
What are the plans for it?
The plans for it are to find an appropriate place to display it here permanently within the district.
What kind of art is it?
Paintings, I guess you'd say landscapes. Yeah, they'd be considered landscapes. They're still over in the administration building, if you'd
They're
like
at
to
the board
take a look.
office right now.
Yeah, and I believe the resolution that I posted online for you all, for the donation, has photos of them as well, too.
It's not just like a
They're
canvas.
very nice.
It's on,
I've had a lot of compliments as people have come in. They're really beautiful, and the history of the Marlington connection here is interesting that way as well too. So the plan, to finish that, Karen, the plan is to display them appropriately here. I'd like to have a plaque made to reflect who it's in honor of,
Nice,
the Rad
yeah.
family, and hopefully it'll also inspire artists here. I believe that's some of the hope as well too. Mr. Haverfield is currently an artist in Florida, a renowned artist, and it's a very generous donation.
How far back were they instructors? When were they here?
yeah, the
I don't
year.
have an exact date, but in talking to Dr. Rad, Dr. Tommy Rad, I get the sense that it was in the probably late 1960s, early 70s. And let's see, I think she said too that her dad, Mr. William Rad, is believed to have started the golf program here.
Oh.
I think it was the golf program. I'll have to double check
Yeah,
on
I
the
don't remember.
sport.
Okay.
I don't remember. That's fine.
So some people in the community may remember Tom Haverfield and William Rad.
Hmm.
They were both instructors and coaches here.
The Alumni Association will probably have good information on for you.
Good point.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'd like to get him framed, put him somewhere visible and respectful.
So Dr. Tommy Rad is his daughter?
Yes, Dr. Tommy Rad is the daughter of Mr. William Rad. And I believe they lived in the Sebring area.
Oh, okay.
It's awesome. That's really good. Okay. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Swift,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan,
Yes.
Mr. Hagan,
Yes.
Ms. Humphries,
Yes.
Ms. Krupko.
Yes.
I'd like to say too, Karen, that I'll put together a letter of thanks and get signatures.
That'd be great. Thank you. Executive session. I'd like to make a motion. The Marlington Local School District Board of Education recess into executive session pursuant to revised code 121.22 G1 to consider the employment or compensation of a public employee.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Ms. Krupko,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan,
Yes.
Mr. Hagan,
Yes.
Ms. Humphries,
Yes.
Mr. Swift.
Yes.
6:54.
And at 6:54. We are out at 7:18 PM. Okay.
Okay, personnel. You guys are good. I will consent personnel.
We're fine. Yes.
I'm going to read through. So we have a classified retirement. So we have for February, or actually March 1st, I apologize. That's a head cook. We have a couple classified resignations, just one, it's a recess monitor. We have some certified staff hires to fill some people that have left. We have a classified, some staff hires there on the classified side. So we have we have a bus driver, we have some aides, obviously we have some cooks. We have a tutor hire. We have a couple classified transfers. They're just transferring from, they were already our employees, they're just transferring to different jobs within the district. We have our every year RIF recalls. Those are just our bus aides and our educational assistants. Those are the ones that we RIF every year. And what we need to bring back is what we bring back. As normal, we continue to add to our supplementals. We'll get those wrapped up here in the next few months. We have some permanent sub hires. Those will be coming in per building. These are just a couple to start off the year that we know of. We have some preferred subs. Those are not permanent subs. The difference between a permanent and a preferred is a permanent will work every day in that particular building. A preferred sub will only work for Marlington, but they're as needed. They're like a secondary to that. With some classified subs, those just go on the sub list as needed. We have extended days for Mr. Evanich, which is really through the CSTAG. The CSTAG just reimburses us. So that's not really us giving any extended days. That's through the safety training that he actually trains with. And we have one leave request that's for between September and November for a maternity leave.
Okay. Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Let's go back here. Mark and
The school counselors in which building?
Lexington. Our counselor of the year resigned last month, remember?
Thank
And
you.
are there problems getting bus drivers now? Because there was, there was that issue for a while.
No, we took a look at where we're at for routing. We had two drivers, one driver that we were training. We had another one transfer in from Canfield. So we were able to get two drivers, which was good. And then I know we're going to have a few this coming year that we will not be replacing. Sharon and I met just yesterday for any retirement moving forward.
Okay. All right, call the roll, please.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Ms. Humphries?
Yes.
Ms. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Upcoming events, tomorrow is the Marlington Alumni Golf Outing at Tannenoff Golf Course. That's their big fundraiser for the year. We're excited for that. August 3rd, we put out there at the Friends Church there in Alliance is their backpack giveaway. So, it's grown. I've done this for 20 years on a volunteer basis. So Marlington has a table. Our administrators donate money, and then we basically buy the supplies, we give them the money, and we have a supply table.
Yep.
So it's a nice turnout for Alliance of Marlington. And then August 10th is the Carnation Parade, so if you're around to watch the parade, please join us. Then obviously we have athletic schedules are going to heat up now, so you guys will start getting on those, the updates of what's going on athletically. I'll start putting those in the updates week by week. Next board meeting, I do want to throw the work session in there.
Yeah. At 5.
Yeah, so I know we have the next board meeting August 15th, 2024 here. I just wanted you guys, if it's okay, as I talked about on my thing, to do a work session just to kind of talk about the strategic plan, review where we're at. I know Josh asked about staffing last month. I told him I'd give him a full review where we were at, from a cost analysis for this past year, because as I do year by year. Talk about goals. Obviously, Renee will be here, and any update for the treasurer side of the world, and close out summer projects. So if you guys are good for 5 o'clock here to do a work session? Yep. Okay.
So work session at 5 p.m., regular meeting at 6 p.m. on Thursday, August 15th, here in the high school DLC. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Ms. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Ms. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Thank you. Good night.